You hit live, right?
I chose Wix for my business because of its massive scope for functionality and
I'm very sorry to hear that. Hey, I've got a great idea. Why don't you come to stay with me on my island and I'll train you personally?
It would be a great honor to have the same teacher my grandpa had.
I'll never forget the day he showed up. He said slow. He told us that he was Goku. So we started calling him Goku Black. He looked down on all of us and said he was going to exterminate the human race. I have not only mastered Goku's powers, I have made them my own. I am a freedom part. The divine. You don't understand, Saiyan. Your time is already at an end. That's where you're wrong. All I've ever tried to do is save people from walking nightmares like you. Nightmares like you. Nightmares like you. Nightmares like you. Walking nightmares like you.
Yo, what's good, everybody? What's good, everybody? This, of course, is the Dragon Ball Fan Podcast, and you are watching episode 8.
Here goes!
Need a moment, someone would drive beyond the tours. My mind like yoga, multiple voices trying to control.
Ego and Black Frieza, but more on that in this episode. Like, that's what I was gonna.
Well, we're live, but that's great.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, you know what? I'm gonna do it.
What's up? What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 8 of the Dragon Ball Fan Podcast. Apologies for the a bit of a scuff stream here.
Yeah, my bad.
I'm the one streaming today.
Yeah, I was supposed to have this set up. I opted for a mobile setup, and didn't work. It was
Yeah.
just straight up, it just didn't work properly. So
It definitely didn't work.
No.
Do you want to explain what we're doing today? Because today's a special day.
Today is a special day. So we obviously have been reading along on the mangas, and we got to a certain point where we're like, you know what, man, like let's catch up. Let's get in the conversation as it's happening. Obviously, there's a lot of interesting stuff and fun stuff happening. So I caught up, and we are gonna have a great discussion, I think, about the Granolah arc within the Dragon Ball Super manga. Are you excited, Josh? Like, what's feeling? How you feeling?
No. So since this is my first time with this setup, it's been a little scuffed, but we're back. We're back. We're back. No.
Oh, I'm looking at the stream right now.
Yeah. No. We're good. We're good now. It should go back in a second. I
Oh, it's so
accidentally.
good.
What ended up happening was I accidentally should be back now, but I moved.
we're good, yeah.
I zoomed you in because I'm so used to zooming in to you. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna keep it zoomed in, and I can look at you better. But no, that's not working. That's not working today. But that's fine. I'll
It's
get
all
used to
good. I don't even have a good camera, man. Not a lot to look at. All good.
it.
You basically you can count all the pixels at the moment.
You probably can,
Um,
honestly.
I wanna start by saying hey to everyone in the chat. We got Toby, Gerald, Sabrina. All y'all are crazy. And Discord has been a blast. It has been a blast because y'all have been in there. Gerald, you were nuts, man. You're nuts with those drawings. The fact that you put together that Tien and Krillin.
What's it called again?
Uh, Trillin? Trillin?
Is it
Or-
Trillin?
Trillin? That's a
Something
pretty
like that.
badass name.
It's
actually.
sick. It's
hard.
sick. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was still weak as fuck, but you know.
I know. Watch it. That's gonna be chapter 102. They're gonna be like, and then.
Did you actually read
Join-
101, by the way?
I actually didn't read 101 yet.
Oh, okay. So yeah, no talks about chapter 101 in chat today. Today
Okay.
we're talking specifically Granolah, and I think a lot of the discussion today, by the way, chat. Anyone here who is caught up, I know Toby's caught up. I believe Gerald's caught up as well. Probably gonna be about this guy here. A lot of talk will be about this fucking guy right here.
That's strong
This,
feelings.
this fraud right here. We'll talk.
Fraud?
We'll talk about this.
Fraud?
This fraudulent written character, terribly written character. We'll get to it. We will get to it. So let's start off here. So how we did Moro was kind of like, if you guys actually watch our Moro review, I would recommend it. Actually, there was a lot of ranting going on. It was actually a really good episode. It's actually one of my favorites. We actually, it was just a pure like hour and a half of just yapping. Like we were just like, we went from the start of the arc to like the end of it to the middle of it, and then we just kind of went whatever.
Listen, there wasn't much guidance to that episode, but what you're saying is accurate. It was almost ranty, but in the way that you love, where you come out of a movie theater with your friends and
Yeah.
you're just talking in every direction about Iron Man and then all how that, like, that's what you want to do, and that's what we're doing. We're just
Yeah.
friends, gather around, having a conversation about it, and I have a feeling today's conversations are also going to be multiple directions, because we're going to talk about one thing, and I'm going to be, oh wait, let's talk about Goku's Ultra Instinct and what they do with that and this. Oh my, and but
Yeah.
anyways, I was going to.
Yeah, no. We're
got
gonna
an
get into
episode
it. We're gonna get into it.
Yeah.
And I can't wait. But before we get into it, let's okay. Before we get into it, should I get your rating on the arc now or after? I feel like I should get it now, because if I get it after, I'm gonna already know kind of what's your rating's gonna be by the way you're talking about it. So if you tell me
I got
now,
it.
I'm gonna be
I
like,
got it. I
"Whoa."
got it.
Okay.
Okay, so here's what we do. You're gonna give me what you think my rating would be based on the moments that I like, and the kind of like, just give me. And I can actually guess your rating as well. We'll guess each other's rating.
So by the end? Are you saying by the end or right now?
No, I'm saying like right now, before we start talking, I guess what I think your rating will be,
Okay.
and you guess
Yes.
what you think mine will be.
What do you think my rating is of the Granolah arc?
Well, I mean, like the way you talked about Bardock was concerning, and but we've had conversations where you've talked highly. So I'm gonna say you have it at like similar to Moro because you like it in some ways better than Moro. But I'm gonna say like a 7 or an 8, a 7.5 is what I think you would give it.
Okay.
Are we doing 0.5s?
Yeah, we could do 0.5s. That's good.
Okay.
That's fine. That's
Okay.
fine. Gerald gives it a 7. Okay. I'm going to say 8.5 for you. I'm
Okay.
going to say 8.5 for you. I think I got it right on the spot, by the way. To be honest, I'm pretty confident that it's 8.5. I don't think it's higher.
Let's see.
All right. So
I won't lie
let's.
to you.
What's up? Oh, like you won't lie
I
after.
won't
Okay.
lie, I won't
So
lie.
let me get some of the receipts out. What I mean by that is, volume 16 that I have here, just for like notes and stuff when we're talking about some topics. Because I have 16, I have 17, and I have 18, but I feel like 16 and 18 are the most important volumes, and 19. Sorry, 19 is very important as well. Okay, so let's talk about this. We get introduced to Granolah. He's a Cerulean. He lives in the planet that is inhabited by Sigarians or Sigarians. And we meet this person, Monata. We have these Dragon Balls, these 2 Dragon Balls, blah, blah, blah. And you kind of get this cool dynamic where it's like Granolah seems like he's going to be the new big bad, but then he's like, he wants revenge on Frieza and the Saiyans because they destroyed his hometown. And then you find out that his only real loyal friend are kind of the Sigarians because he's really polite to them, and most importantly, Monato, the Namekian, who's been living with him. And I thought that was a great start to the arc, actually.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Yeah, I think it's almost like covering what we've reacted to.
Yeah, pretty
Is
much.
kind of where we're at. Like I think in a little bit because we built up the ego, but I think it started off really strong because I think you and me really appreciate when they take some time to ground the characters, establish details that are important to like understand why this person's going to these lengths to do this thing. It's what makes
Yeah.
this all seem believable. We're watching guys, blast lasers out of their fucking eyes and mouth and assholes, so
Yeah.
like we need to like in order for it to feel like a really good arc, it needs to feel relatable, and they need to establish motive. And
Yeah.
that is what they did, I think, to kick it off. And none of it felt boring to me. Like I think I mentioned a couple times, like, I'm ready for a little combat. I'm ready for a little combat. The combat came.
Yeah.
So I'm good.
All right, let's start talking about a bit of the heaters. So at the start of the
Okay.
arc, what was your thoughts on the heaters? So we have what, oil, elec, gas, and what's her name again? I always forget her name.
Something starts with an M. Help us out, chat.
Yeah, I forgot her name. The
Yeah,
female
help us out
heater.
in the chat.
But what did you think about them in the beginning of the arc? Because I feel like you were kind of like whatever about them. You didn't hate them, but you were just kind of like, yeah, they're just kind of there.
Yeah, I think you're on the money there. Like, I was just a little underwhelmed. Like, they felt unsubstantial. I really didn't think they were going to be that big of a deal. When we see the Heaters kind of puppeteer this plan to get him, oh my gosh, the Saiyans to be with Granolah, I thought it was going to kind of end there for them. Obviously, that it changes in a very significant way.
Mhm.
And I really, I shouldn't say anything because we're not talking about. But yes, in the beginning, I was underwhelmed.
Mhm.
Did my opinion change? We'll see.
Okay. How about Granola's wish? What do you think about his wish?
So I think it's interesting. Obviously, it's a wish that is doubled down on in this arc,
Mhm.
and
Gas.
you have to ask yourself. I think everyone asks themselves when that happens. Obviously, with gas, is this too convenient? And I think what I really liked is that they didn't make it so that and it, you know, funny enough, you highlighted this when we were talking about this before, but is Granolah the strongest fighter? It's almost like he has that latent ability to be. He has to work towards it at the beginning to really kind of like break in the skates.
Yeah.
And you know that's something that you know again happens with Gas as well. Now, what I thought was interesting was that you know, of course, he makes that wish, and something that affects uh, both of them. Of course, now if you're in this chat, there's you know we don't even have to throw up spoilers. You shouldn't be here if you haven't read the Granolah arc. You know, of course, it reduces their time alive, and so what I found really interesting was that Gas's time was far shorter. But was that just because of the amount of power he was outputting? That's one question I had for you because
Yeah.
from my understanding, my feeling, like Gas was stronger than Granolah the entire time before before any of them made wishes. So then why did it take so much more of his life force?
I think it took more of his life force because it's based off of how strong you were before you wished. So, for example, Granolah wasn't that strong before he wished for the Dragon Balls.
Yeah.
So he kind of had like, it's kind of like I feel like it's almost like a bar. So it's like Gas's bar was already pretty full because he was already really strong, and then he like exceeded the bottle. Like it just went, oh like shit, like now you're just gonna deplete a lot quicker. Whereas Granolah was like, oh,
Oh.
maybe like because he was really weak, he had that leeway of just being able to use all of that potential already to fill that bar up. And that's why I think he was a lot better. The whole Granolah versus Gas thing I think is interesting because I think actually
Yeah.
Granolah, when he wishes it right in the beginning, is weaker than Gas. But once we start seeing him, you know, use his second eye, especially you see that against Ego Vegeta, on their fight in Planet Cereal, you really see how strong he really gets after he starts using more than 50%.
Yeah.
So I think at that point you would say Gas is a lot not a lot weaker, sorry, is a bit weaker maybe, or just relative. Um
Yeah.
Whereas it obviously changes after, you know, Gas gets the Dragon Balls and then that happens. Which is probably, I'd say, one of my first parts of this arc I did not like. I did not like how the two strongest new characters we got were people who were just like, you know, I need a wish on the Dragon Balls, become strongest, blah blah, or, you know, stuff like that. I was not a big fan of personally. What do you think?
Okay, but in all fairness, like, who was going to wish for that? Because none of the I mean, maybe Yamcha, but like, none of the fighters have it in their character, especially the key 2, 3, 4 that we know as like our guys.
Yeah,
I don't see them ever kind of getting past their own internal pride to be like, hey, make me the strongest, Shenron. Give me the bypass. Also, I don't think they're willing to cut down years. So I think one thing I really liked about the wish was that like uh it illustrated this like desire for power and how it can eat away at you, and to kind of like riff off of what you were discussing earlier, like almost like the out of control nature of Gas kind of ate away at him a bit. And I almost think of like, what do you call that candy that you put inside of a Diet Cola and you shake it and it just blows?
yeah,
um, and it's almost like at the end there when Gas has that, I wouldn't call it a pep talk necessarily, but that last conversation with his brother, and Alex like, just you know what, you got to be willing to die for the cause, man.
yeah.
I mean that might be
Are
what it
you, are
takes.
you talking about
I thought,
when he turns into a zombie?
yeah, I legit, bro. I thought he was going to, because of the conversation he had had with Goku during that whole really cool instant transmission sequence. I thought he was going to be like, yo, fuck you, Alec, and then blast him. Like I
Yeah,
thought he was done, but then the fact that it really was that like diet soda shaken moment of like, boom, caps off, and he's losing like, so like clearly he's turning into a zombie. It's almost like his
yeah.
energy is all that's keeping him together.
Hmm.
Um, but that desire for power is blinding. And you know, it's obviously something that is relevant in real life. But you see, you know, explored through Granolah and the way that he treats oatmeal, and the way that he even treats Minato a little bit as well.
Yeah,
But obviously, like a big moment, he takes off oatmeal and he just drops it.
yeah.
And
And then Minato
yeah,
finds oatmeal and then sees Goku, and is like, wait, yeah.
Oh.
We'll get to that though. I'm gonna blue ball you a little bit more here. Gerald says in chat, only one that stood out for me from those was Gas. Yeah, I'd say so too. I mean, I guess Alec stands out just for the simple fact that he's like the head honcho.
Yeah.
I didn't like the wish either. I don't know if the Earth Dragon balls can do the same, but I thought if you asked for something that is higher than the dragon's power, he couldn't do it. Yeah, and I think that's the only reason why it actually happened was because there was a downfall to it too, right? There's a consequence you have to take with that. So I think when we're gonna talk about it later because I need to talk about this later. The Black Frieza stuff, where Black Frieza actually trained.
The
So
amount
that's
of
why.
stuff we have to talk about.
So we got to keep moving here. I guess we could start talking about their first fights. So how do you think Ultra Instinct? Oh, well, actually, we can actually skim over this because we actually did our reactions to it. You could probably check that out. What's up?
Pause. Before we go into it, I know we're gonna get into a good conversation here, and I just want to get to Gerald's comment that just came in before
Sure.
we dive into it. So he says, I didn't like the wish either. I don't know
I just
if
read that.
I don't. Oh, is that what you just read?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? It's like we're having different podcasts right now. You know what I mean? Yo, Gerald, you know what? It was just such a good comment. It had to hit you up. You know, had to hit you up.
Oh man.
Yo, trilling for the win, Tillin. All right, sorry. So where do you want to start? You want to
Okay,
start with
actually, we shouldn't start off with the first ego fight too much and the first Ultra Instinct fight. We should kind of go bit after that, just because we kind of did the reactions to it, which you guys should definitely check out. So I think I'm gonna put this one away. Let's talk about the ending of So I go by volumes because I read it physically most of the time. I mean, I do read digitally as well. But end of volume 17, we find out. Well, Minato has oatmeal with him. And Minato looks at Goku and he's like, oh, like this person looks familiar. Obviously not in that tone. It's more like, oh my god, this guy looks familiar. Blah blah blah. Then they mention the name Bardock. And everyone's kind of like, huh? Like only Minato and one other person knows who that is, and that's Vegeta. And Vegeta's the one who tells Goku that's his father.
I loved that it was Vegeta too.
Yeah.
And I knew that you would like it.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because it makes sense. Vegeta is a proud Saiyan warrior. He is. Now people love to say that he's proud to be like a prince, but he ain't proud of it. He never agrees, like especially now, he doesn't fuck with King Vegeta and what he did. King Vegeta was complete evil. Like complete terrible person. Especially with what he did to Broly. That's completely canon now. You're two different podcasts, bro, living in a different universe right now. Yeah.
Wait, hold up. We got a comment from Gerald. He says two different podcasts. I'm joking.
Oh, I thought you were serious again. I'm like, holy shit, bro.
Oh, just fucking around.
So, how do you think? Okay, when you saw the Bardock name being just being put out on here, because you got to understand something. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. I don't remember Bardock's name at all being mentioned in a manga panel, only through the specials. This is the first time ever in volume 17 on their last page that Bardock is completely canon. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I believe that also came out before Broly. Is Broly? Yeah, Granolah came out before Broly, right? Or no, it's after Broly. I'm dumb. I can't think right now.
Broly is the latest thing, right?
Yeah.
On the timeline.
Yeah, because we get no, but regardless, even that, regardless, our first implication of canon Bardock is Broly movie, but in manga format, it's volume 17, the end of volume 17. So when you see Bardock's name being put out there, where do you think the next chapters, or for me, the next volume is heading at that point? Because it's like, why does this need to be said? But then you're like, wait, it's being saved, and then you're like, oh shit, this is tying together now because like Granolah was actually saved by a Saiyan, and it was Bardock, right? So where was your head going when you saw Bardock's name being mentioned?
I was confused because not confused, but like almost concerned that they could take it down a cheesy route. And the moment I read Bardock's name, I think I started thinking about obviously you had mentioned that there were things about this arc that people didn't like, and uh, I kind of ran a few things by you, and you're like, no. And I'm like, so what's the biggest thing? You're like, it's the fact that, or like one of the biggest things is the fact that Bardock is in it, in the way that they kind of use his character in this and stuff. But off the bat, I was like, oh man, like I hope they don't butcher this, because it could be something cool. We had a podcast. I forgot what episode it was. I think it was rematches that we want to see in it. You said Kaba versus Vegeta, and you want to see them go back to planet Vegeta
Sadala,
for
yeah.
him. Or sorry, yes, but essentially, and I even mentioned like I'd love to see Goku kind of connect again, with his Saiyan heritage a bit more.
Mhm.
I saw it as an opportunity maybe for that to happen. I was glad that seems to have been the case. Obviously, like they explored that, and spoiler, that's one piece I did like. So, yeah, I was concerned, but like hopeful.
Mhm. I don't have the volumes with me because I believe it happens. Well, I know it happens when Goku fights Gas. I don't remember if it's the first time or if it's second. You're gonna have to correct me because I didn't finish volume 18. I was rereading though. But so you have these two new transformations, like real transformations, or if we're being technical, chat states. So,
States.
I like to use the word states a lot now because of how say the Super Saiyan forms and transformations are kind of being implemented and kind of being foreshadowed to come back into in relevancy. And what I mean by that is more Super Saiyan, maybe Super Saiyan 2, God, Blue, whatever, right? So my thing is, what did you think about TUI, so True Ultra Instinct, and what did you think about Ultra Ego?
I feel like I'll be quick with Goku's. I mean, True Ultra Instinct, I felt like I don't feel like we got a whole lot of it. I feel like it was kind of glossed over, but it was cool, and I like that they introduced the idea that like, you got to lean into what makes you you, and that's going to be your version of Ultra Instinct. Obviously, they have that conversation with Whis, or he has that conversation with Whis.
Yeah.
And then it just sets it up really good for him. And I think Vegeta also makes a reference a bit earlier on around like, oh, interesting, like you can use, like it might be more effective if he uses Super Saiyan in tandem. Like there was this observation that Vegeta makes as well, and so
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool that like in True Ultra Instinct, I mean, it seems like he's truly treating it more like a state,
Mm-hmm.
which allows him, like as I've been alluding to utilize those other forms. You're not treating this like a form, you're treating it like a state. So now you can stack that shit up. Are we gonna see that with Super Saiyan with oh gosh, Kaioken? I don't know. That'd be nuts.
Imagine. That'd be
I
like
know.
break every bone in his body or something.
Yeah.
Um,
Ultra Ego is badass though. Like he is cool as shit. Now, he, you know, he could get canceled out here. He could get canceled out here.
Yeah.
Some of the shit he was saying, I think he was trying to like make his own blood boil a little bit too.
Yeah.
But like that hunger for battle, I think everyone can relate to like that hunger for competition.
Mhm.
And like, yo, you know what? We scored, you scored. Cool. We're coming back now. Let's go. It's a game. It's
Yeah.
a game. And it's that kind of like hunger for it, right? For
Mhm.
competition. And I love that character is really like literally fueled by that.
Yeah. I actually have a hot take about Vegeta in his first fight in Ego. And Chobi might still be in chat. He's a Vegeta fan, but I actually didn't mind that he lost to Granolah in Ego. I actually don't. And the only reason why I don't is because how he lost. So people can say Granolah was just always stronger, and Vegeta overestimated or underestimated his opponent, like he usually does. But I feel like for not the first time, but Vegeta, one of Vegeta's couple of times, I'd say, where he kind of dumbed himself down. Now, it's not the writers dumbing him down at all. It's not, again, I don't even think it's dumb is the right word, but he kept taking hits on purpose by Granolah a lot in the beginning of that fight. he was like,
Yeah.
he was like, Granolah was sending barrage of ki blasts to him, and he was just like, he ate it. He just
Yeah.
ate it all, and then he was like, after the blasts faded away, he was hurt. It's not like he was taking these shots like they weren't hurting him. They were literally hurting him. So you had this like weird part where he's like, "Oh, I'm getting stronger," but it's like, how much stamina do you have left? Like, you're done basically. So by
Yeah.
the time he got really really strong, it wasn't enough because all Granolah had to do is hit him like 1 or 2 more times, and Vegeta was kind of done there. So I was like, okay, this is kind of cool just because Vegeta knows like, yo, I can't be fucking around like that. I can't just be, like taking hits all the time. And I think that's where Ultra Ego becomes really broken of the transformation, where it's like, if he can master it, and his mastery is more like, okay, like he can use like destruction or Hakai, whatever, at a very efficient level and be able to take more hits, like be more durable, have great
True.
endurance, he just becomes insanely broken, like insanely broken. Because it's like, okay, I'm hitting you. Sure, you might be. Sure, it's probably like doing something to you, but he's still taking it like a champ. And guess what? He's gonna hit you back even harder. So we'll probably talk about maybe next week or later this week. But it's a big reason why I think even Beast Gohan would have a big, like a hard time against a mastered Ultra Ego, just because. And even Orange Piccolo has no chance because of Spirit Fission and him being fused.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like I think that's a big reason, because like let's say Beast Gohan punches him very, very, very hard, and he somehow like withstands it. Guess what? Guess what's about to happen to you? Like you're about to get clapped if he's strong enough still, right? So reminded me of Super 17 GT eating all of the hits, but Super 17 wasn't getting effed up like Vegeta. Yeah, true, because Super 17 is actually likable, right? Or a liked character by the writers. Well, in GT it was a different writer, but yeah. Okay. Let's do it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna talk about it. Talk to me about this guy. Talk to me about him. I need
Okay.
to know what you think about him as
Yeah.
his involvement in the arc.
I loved it. I loved it.
I knew it.
Every
I fucking knew it.
single fucking part.
I hate
everybody. Yeah, Josh hated it because he's like, why couldn't there have been King Vegeta? No, you know what, bro?
Not at all.
Listen up. Yo, listen, man. You just gotta give Goku. Listen, Vegeta's been taking the spotlight when it comes to like, wow, the fucking growth on that guy. Goku's been, like, oh, okay, like last touch
But he
on
gets
that
all
goal.
the W's.
He gets he deflects goals in, bro. He got the goal because he got the last touch. But point is, Goku's been like a very one-dimensional character for a very long time. So for there to be growth, and it was
There's
great.
growth? There's growth? I don't see growth, bro. The only part...
You're telling me he didn't reconnect with his Saiyan heritage.
Oh,
he didn't
God.
literally say out of his mouth, I know what it means now to be proud of who I am. Like,
Oh
bro, what are
my
you talking? He literally says in the manga,
Dude.
I know who I am. Like, how can you say there
Okay,
was
the
no
best
growth?
part about Bardock's involvement in the arc was when Goku picks up the Scouter. Boom, I said
Great,
it.
great moment. Yeah, every time the Scouter comes up, really cool. I love the Bardock fight. The one thing I don't like. here's what
Okay,
I don't like.
please tell me it's the thing I'm thinking about.
It's the Ultra Instinct.
Okay, yeah, that's fucking awful. It's awful. Like, it's not
That
bad,
doesn't
it's
make
awful.
Yeah,
And how
okay,
about
sorry.
his wish?
Not that I'm not gonna say I don't like. Oh, okay. The wish is another weird one, because since when can like, where do you wish on? Do you wish for something to happen? I mean, why didn't Broly? Maybe Broly would have been like, no, keep me in this fight with the fusion. Like, I'm good. Like, he didn't get a chance. So maybe this specific dragon's like, yo, bro, I'm just checking in with you first, Bardock. Like, are you trying to leave or do you want to stay? And then he goes back, yo, listen, Namekian. So Bardock's gonna stay. He doesn't want to go. Like, when is that a thing with the balls? That makes no sense. But I don't know. That was kind of weird. And I'm not saying that the Ultra Instinct thing, and it was more of a wink, but yeah, it's pretty heavily implied with the way they drew the hair.
It's
It's interesting. Look, we're treating this, Josh, here's the thing. We have to treat this now Like this is the canon. We can't think of Bardock from the past and be like, bro, he's legit a
One
low class.
issue about that though. One issue.
What?
Only
What?
one issue.
What's
Is
the one
how
issue?
the fuck does he not save Planet Vegeta then against Frieza? Against that Frieza, that Namex, that completely ruins it now.
Okay.
It ruins
So,
everything.
does it? Okay,
Yeah,
so let's
yeah.
talk about it. Let's talk about it, my guy. So when Goku goes Ultra Instinct the first time, yeah, you're right. He held it the whole fucking time, right? And he like he was able to just go right back into it. Is that what you're saying? Oh no, wait, that's right. He didn't. He had to keep going in and out and in and out of it.
There's no
Okay,
way.
no, hold on. And Goku is a way more experienced fighter by this point than his father was. Because Goku's been training for years, many unaccounted for in a hyperbolic time chamber.
Cool.
Like Goku in power level, you can't even compare.
Cool.
So if Bardock went like you can call it UI for like 5 seconds, I'd say that's believable.
No, let me tell you why. What is Ultra Instinct? What's Ultra Instinct? It's God Key, right?
No,
Correct?
it's not.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's considered God Key. Ultra Instinct is still considered God Key. So you're telling me Bardock has God Key, but he can't do anything, even Super Saiyan. He can't go Super Saiyan. He can't even go. So he can go base form to Ultra Instinct, but he can't go Super Saiyan. Oh, come on. There's no way. Like it just makes no sense mechanically at all that he even gets 3 seconds of fucking Ultra Instinct. It makes no sense.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
Sure.
So, Goku becomes a god when 5 other Saiyans join hands with him and they go through a ritual and he becomes a god, right?
Yeah.
How did Vegeta do it? He just trained and did it, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But you're saying that Vegeta, like, he just did it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So how come?
So why do you
by
think,
that logic, why can't Bardock like just do it?
why can't Bardock just do it? Do you understand what you're saying right now?
Because you're saying, oh, he
talking.
trained. You're saying, oh, he trained. And...
What did
Okay,
Bardock
well,
do?
You know what?
He had 10,000 base power. Do you know how much 10,000 base power is? Okay, let me just put this in perspective of how weak Bardock really was.
Goku's power
No.
after getting fucking swallowed by a spirit bomb, bro, was like minus 1 million.
Okay,
I'll tell you that right now.
Put it this way. Bardock's power level, if he were to go to the Namek Saga in Dragon Ball Z, he's losing to people like Dodoria. He's losing to people to like Raccoon. He's losing to people like Ginyu. He's losing everybody. Literally Vegeta went there, and he how many people did Vegeta lose to in Namek, and then went back and clapped their ass? He lost to like Zarbon, right? I believe, and he kind of had a stalemate against Raccoon, but he like beat Dodoria. He beat is it Kui or some shit? All these people, right? Vegeta. What does Vegeta do when he's on planet Earth? He trains, right? Okay, fair. Okay, now let me ask you something. Do we know, confirmed, that there's a hyperbolic time chamber in Planet Vegeta? No, we do not. And we also know, wait, and here's the thing too, even if they did have it, then that would also mean all the Saiyans were to be a lot stronger than they are, because there's a misconception about Saiyans. Saiyans are not a strong race. They are not. Base value, they are not a strong race whatsoever. They are stronger than a lot of others, but that's why they go to planets like the Sugarians to kill them, because they are a lot weaker. That's why Saiyans are terrible. It's a terrible race. And not all of them, of course. You have people like Goku. I'm not even gonna mention Vegeta, because Vegeta at one point was like that. And Bardock wasn't all good either, but we can get into that later. You have people good like Vegeta, but that's what these Saiyans do. They fiend on people who are weaker than them so that they can feel stronger. Now, the Zenkai thing is what makes Saiyans strong. So they can adapt through battle and stuff and fight. Sure, that is fine. But in base value, Saiyans are not that strong. They're not like They're not like Frieza's race at all. Frieza's race will destroy any Saiyan if they both grinded or trained in a hyperbolic time chamber. Frieza's race is like 5 to 10 times will grow
for sure.
than a Saiyan. My whole point here is though, Mike, is that Bardock getting even 2 to 3 seconds of Ultra Instinct to me, even that to me is just complete bullshit. It's kind of like Toyotaro's just like, you know what, like, yo, I gotta make some hype here, bro. Like, you already bring Bardock somehow into it. Okay, I don't think people were mad about the whole Bardock saving Minato thing. I don't think people had an issue with that. That's not the problem. Because if people are like, oh, well, he's a lot more evil, or like he's a bit more like neutral in the specials. Well, the specials aren't canon, bitch. So who cares? Like what you said, right? Which is correct. They're not canon.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck? Right? What's canon that I know is Namek Saga. He is blown to smithereens by Namek Saga Frieza. That is canon. Yeah. There's nothing, you cannot change that. Now, we're all the way in Super, and you're telling me this guy gets 3 seconds of angel powers of some sort? Or that's absurd to me. That's completely absurd. Even if it's 3 seconds, even if it's a fucking millisecond, it's crazy to me. It's completely crazy. It's just, it's something you add into a story just to like jerk everyone off. Like, I'm serious. Like, it's just to be like, oh, like everyone's gonna love this shit. And then just like, no one's gonna like this shit. Like, this is terrible. This makes no sense. That's like me putting Vegeta now in the next arc and he gets Mastered Ultra Instinct. It's like, no, that's not how this works. He can't get Ultra Instinct. People gotta stop this shit with Vegeta Ultra Instinct. He thinks too much. That's the point. Bardock is not strong enough. Now, 2 different implications, but still in the same realm of what I'm saying. One is too weak to even get to that point. One can't do something and get to this point. It's the same shit. There's 2 things that they cannot reach. It's not their goals. They can do different things, sure, but it's just absurd that that Toyotaro even thought it was a good idea to put someone like Bardock in an Ultra Instinct state of some sort at all. It's just ludicrous to me. It makes no sense. And that's why I don't like Bardock at all. I'm like, okay, I'm excited. I like Bardock comes into the story. Cool, fair. Then you just completely ruin his character. Like, cool, bro. You're showing me him save Minato, and I forgot Granola's mom's name and stuff. Alec kills Granola's mom, right? Cool. That I like that. You get kind of like, oh, and Bardock's like kind of like pissed and stuff like that. Whatever. Cool. Beats gas. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
Okay, well, hold on. He beats. This is a gas that is a different gas than the one we get after the wish. We know he's strong. We know that he, of course, gets a massive multiplier when he transforms, but we don't technically know how strong gas is and how strong he was 40 years before that, right? So we're talking about us. If we want to use gas as a reference, I just don't think it's clear enough.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with that.
And I definitely, Josh, I do agree with you that, and I agree. I like a lot of what you said. Even a flash of UI, it is kind of bullshit. Like, I think they wanted to paint some sort of like meeting in the middle of Goku. He's kind of like shunned away this Saiyan stuff, and Bardock's been a traditional Saiyan for a while, and they morally, right? They morally and like culturally meet in the middle a little bit. And it's like, oh wow, and so they both achieve, but it's different in, like you're saying, right? And so I agree with that. Now, if they went down the uncanon route, and instead, because Bardock is now he's fighting for something that means more than anything, like you said, more than just these killing a bunch of people on their next mission, right? Like, this means something, protecting this kid and this Namekian. Maybe if he goes Super Saiyan, you bring back that uncanon lore.
That's fine.
Right? And he can't just go back to it. We all know how tough it is to just hold.
It'd be cool if he beat Gas in Super Saiyan or something. That'd be cool. That'd be sick. Like, Gas is beating his ass. Like that Gas is like beating him or something. And then it's like he turns Super Saiyan, and it kind of turns out like Goku versus Frieza in a sense. Yeah. Because we have to, you gotta understand something. It's kind of easy to scale Gas 40 years ago too. In the sense of why I think he's stronger than Bardock. But the reason why it's easy to scale is because we probably can assume he's weaker than Namek Saga Frieza at that point, right? Like, we gotta assume he's weaker than he's weaker than Frieza, which means that Goku being Super Saiyan at what he was before in Namek Saga would beat that Gas 40 years ago. Gas just progressively got stronger as well. Now, I don't remember, did they ever mention what the Heaters' race is? No, right?
Maybe, like, there's a moment where they where Elect takes off the head guard, like that. Not what do you call that? It's like a
I think that's what
bracelet
they're
for your
called. The
head.
heater. Yeah, Heater's Force, Heater's Race. I think that's what
Okay,
they're.
yeah,
Well, their homeworld is unknown, sure, but yeah, I guess they're just called Heaters. They're called the Heater family race members. Yeah, it's not really like a race itself, but yeah, I guess
yeah.
because what I was gonna say, like, well, I mean, especially Gas's potential has always been good.
Yeah, it was interesting too. Like another, uh, I don't want to transition away from this conversation yet, but just for as a quick sidestep,
Yeah,
I did enjoy how, um, Gas was very driven to initially beat him with the powers that he had developed initially, because he's like, no, like I'm trying to show you elect that, like I was enough to begin with, and that was a cool thing. Like there was
yeah,
motive from everybody, everyone involved, and it was really really cool. And it wasn't like for Gas, it wasn't just my brother's telling me to do this. It was like I have shit from my past with this guy's fucking dad.
yeah,
I got beef with you, Granolah, because you shouldn't have been ever been fucking doing tasks for us. I could have been doing all that shit. Like I didn't need you. He's
yeah,
pissed off at Vegeta now because like in it that I think the a lot of the writing was really really good. Maybe they overstepped in certain areas like we were just talking about,
yeah,
but man, I'm not going into a final score or anything yet, but I think now I can safely just like tell you though, like aside from maybe a couple moments, maybe there'll be another one or two that you'll bring up. Like I loved this arc. This was a really good time for me.
yeah,
I really liked the Bardock thing. Like Bardock, uh, inclusion of Bardock, I loved how it tied to Goku and the narrative that they paint around from that point on.
yeah,
That Goku takes this scouter, he actually takes it home. Like he's not a he's so not a what's that term when material. He's not a material guy
yeah,
at all. Like the guy doesn't even fucking probably doesn't even know where Nimbus is right now. Like
yeah,
he doesn't give a
yeah,
shit, right?
yeah,
But for him to take the scouter was like, yeah, this means something to me now, and also like to have the flashback for that stuff to come back to Goku, like that was rad. I was like, yes, that's awesome. And the perspective they give you from like inside of his pod, like looking out, like the
yeah,
daily, like mom walking by and dad being like, hey, see you son going to work. Like that was
yeah,
fucking sick. I love that we got like basically what I was saying I wanted if we were to get the Saiyans to go to Universe Six's Saiyan planet. For Goku, from Goku's perspective, like for him to connect with his Saiyan heritage, maybe to learn somehow more about his father, and we got that. And so for me, from a Goku perspective, um, I felt fulfilled. From a Vegeta perspective, I loved so much of that. I really liked Granolah and how Granolah was such a big piece of all this, and even the little side characters that sprinkled in around him, like the
yeah,
Sigarians, like Oatmeal, and like Minato. What
yeah, for
stood
sure.
out for you though?
For this part, um, well, of the arc in general,
However you want to take it. Like, okay, how about here? Let's go here. I obviously like you've voiced things that you didn't like about the Bardock situation. Before we step away from that, you the only thing I know that you did like was the scouter.
yeah.
Like was there anything else about the Bardock situation that you did like? Was it like I wish they just didn't include Bardock, or was it like I wish they treated it
Well, I
slightly
think
different?
I think them just like lightly adding him to the story in the beginning was actually pretty cool. I think that's how you should have put it. Um, but then having all this stuff that I think was kind of bullshit at the end is kind of what ruined Bardock as a whole for me at that point. But yeah, the scouter thing was pretty cool. I didn't like the wish thing. I did like seeing Bardock on panel though. Like that's the thing. I did like seeing him on panel was cool. Um,
Yeah.
and that's kind of it really. Like I didn't really like too much about Bardock, I'll be honest with you, but the scouter thing was awesome. Like that part alone makes me not have Bardock himself as like a 0 out of 10 in this arc. Like if they just implemented Bardock really well in the beginning, like just softly just put him in there, just be like, and then Goku like understands a bit more. But like we don't even need the Bardock versus like gas thing, the Ultra Instinct bullshit, the I wish this, forget about Raditz bullshit. Like no, like don't care about that. Even if we just
Yeah.
got like that end of volume 17, a bit of the volume 18 stuff where like Alec kills Granolah's mom, stuff like that in the ending there. And then you kind of see how like the ending conclusion, not including the heaters, I think it would have been fine. I think it would have been better. But yeah, overall, not a fan of Bardock, but I did like well, I'm a fan of Bardock. I'm not a fan of how they implemented Bardock in this arc at all. And I
into the canon realm,
yeah.
ultimately.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's kind of it for me on that. I do want to mention though, More Arc is my favorite super arc, but um the art I feel like in some instances in Granolah is pretty insane, honestly. Like I know there's this whole thing where it's like, like Toyotaro trying to cover Toyarama's shoes and no one can like I don't care what anyone says. You can have your favorite manga and stuff, but in terms of shonen, just shonen, right? We're not talking about like Kintaro Miura who does or did rest in peace Berserk, but that's a different kind of or manga. If just shonen, right? Just shonen battle manga, nobody can do it like Toriyama. No one. There's no one even significantly close who can draw better than Toriyama in terms of choreography and paneling. But Toyotaro did a very good job for his standards, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I mean that in the sense that you're arguably filling in shoes for the greatest of all time mangaka for shonen in terms of drawing, like illustrating, ever. And I think he did a fantastic job on some instances of some fights. Now, the fights that I actually think he did really well on in terms of paneling and art, because that's one thing I do not like about Toyotaro. Sometimes it's kind of hard to read how he's paneling stuff, but he in Granolah arc, I feel like sometimes he did a really good job. And my favorite fight, actually, we can start going into this. My favorite fight in the arc is actually Gas versus Granolah. It's not Gas versus Vegeta. It's not Gas versus Goku or Granolah, Vegeta. It's actually Granolah versus Gas. That's my favorite fight in the arc.
Yes, I agree. And
yeah.
it was cool that we kind of kept getting back to it.
Yeah, we kind of get back to
Tell me
it.
a bit more
And
about what you like, though.
the I like the first real fight that happens. I believe it's on chapter 81. I believe so, right? Because here, actually no, they started off here as well. So you get it more in like chapters like 70, no, 80, 81. And 81 is where it ends, where Alec shoots him in the back, which it pissed me off, but that makes me hate him more, which is good. You want me to hate Alec, right? The writer wants us to do that to Yotaro. So Alec I already hate because Alec kills Granolah's mom, which already pissed off Bardock, and you got, and that's the parallel I start really liking. So I'll talk to you about that. This part I really like about Toyotaro. So Bardock gets pissed off after Alec shoots and kills Granolah's mom. Sorry guys, I forgot her name. And then Granolah gets shot in the back by Alec, and he goes into the water, I believe. The first thing that happens now is Goku charges straight at Gas, straight at him, and he just goes at it, and I'm just like father like son, and then you get that little parallel there, which is cool. I wish we kind of had like a moment where Minato is kind of like, wow, like like it's almost like he's right here kind of thing, which is cool. I really like that moment from that fight. But yeah, just the fighting scenes, it felt like a back and forth most of the time with Gas and Granolah. At the ending part, it does seem like Gas does, get the upper hand a lot more. But Granolah does get hits in. Like it's not like it's a like an 80-20 thing. Like it felt like a 60-40, I'd say, for the most part.
Yeah, I think obviously that fight gets cut short, but we don't know
Yeah.
where it's going. Like, yeah, I agree with you. Gas had the upper hand, but he was deteriorating quick. So we don't know if he was a ticking time bomb, because even Alec himself was saying we might want to get out of here in case he's. I don't know exactly how he expressed it, but it seemed like they needed to create some distance because something was gonna go down with him when the time ran out. And
Yeah.
I don't know if he was gonna blow up. I don't know if he just didn't want them to see it.
Hmm.
But um, yeah, we don't know exactly how that fight was gonna go, but I agree. I thought it was really, really interesting. Granolah as a character was they did the work early on to make him someone that you were going to care about in this arc. So whenever he did rejoin the fight, I think it was always fun, even if I was like in the moment, uh, I was bouncing around characters that I was like, oh my gosh, this is my favorite character. This is the standout character of this arc.
Yeah.
Granola was incredible. Vegeta was incredible. Goku, I feel for the first time since Tournament of Power, which isn't that long ago, but I don't know, like even then, just moments of it, like Goku felt like a hero again in certain moments. The way they drew him, like uh the way he was like some of the conversations he was having with Vegeta, but like especially the way they drew him in, like some of the things he was saying almost reminded me of like more of the slightly more of the stoic Goku that we know.
Yeah.
He's not Superman, obviously heavily inspired by, but he's not Superman. But um, I really like that. Then we go to Vegeta. He's got this new form. That's fun. That's exciting. Like you said, it's super weird that he's got to like keep taking damage, and he leans into that a little bit too
Yeah.
much. Like, oh, I can sort of keep going, but I also am broken everywhere right
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
Um, that was fun. The conversations between him and Goku, and then obviously jumping to Bardock. When I was watching the Bardock stuff, like you said, he was fun to see on the panels.
Yeah.
I was literally thinking like I would totally read a manga that was The Adventures of Bardock and just show me all of his Saiyan missions.
Yeah.
Like that would be sick. I would totally be there.
Yeah, that'd be
Um,
sick.
that would be sick. And then, and then Gas has this narrative. And so it was so interesting. So yeah, with Granola, I had a great time with him. But I mean, I don't know if I could even pick a specific fight between two guys. I think the whole fight was a blast.
Yeah. No, 100%. I um I really liked so the Goku and Vegeta versus Gas thing was when it was like, oh shit, like here we go. I really liked that part just because it didn't go back to fusion. And don't get me wrong, I love me some
Yeah.
Gogeta. I love me especially Vegito, but I do love both. I love Gogeta as well. I'm like, okay, this is cool. They can like try to work together, even though if they're not actually working together, but like kind of like how they did against Jiren for a little bit in the Tournament of Power, where it's like they're working together, but they're not in unison. But it's still 2v1, right? But they still have their prides intact because they're kind of still doing their own thing, and it's kind of throwing their
Yeah.
opponent off, which is cool. And I felt like that part was really cool. And then we get the zombie gas. Um, and wait, they fight zombie gas together. That's the first time they fight zombie gas, right? It's together. Like, isn't it solo and then zombie gas comes in? And they're like, "Yo, fuck, we got a tag team." I don't remember. I think so. Something like that.
Maybe it was. Maybe it was, or was it like a Kamehameha and Gallic gun that sent him into the water to begin with, and then he came out as a
Oh,
zombie.
oh,
It
could be.
may, I think it may have been that. I think it's after his pep talk with Elect where he starts,
Oh,
and then we start getting some. And you're totally right. It was like, let's not run into each other, but like I'll
yeah,
be aware of where you're at, but I'm gonna be doing my thing, and I'm gonna try and beat him myself. And
yeah.
that was fun.
No, for sure. Um, okay. 'Cause I want to leave some room for the juice, right? Because yes, this arc has a lot of crazy things going for it. Whether you like it narratively, canonically, how it flowed, there were a lot of things that were happening, especially on the fighting side of things. This arc is very fighting centric. Like there's just a lot of fighting happening. So it is a quick read. This arc because of how much fighting there is. But before we get into the guy that comes um Planet Cereal, um before we get to that, you get this character Zombie Gas, and you're kind of like, okay, like this guy's deteriorating, he's completely done, right? What's actually happening here? Because when I first read it, I'm like, you know, he looks like he's getting weaker, right? And in a way he is. In a way he is. His body and like his soul itself is deteriorating. But
Yeah.
his power is actually insanely it's so much stronger.
You know what it reminded me of?
What?
It reminded me of the androids. It's like at 100% power until your last minute,
Yeah.
like until your last breath.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, you get these like the zombie gas character, and I'm just again I'm like watching a little bit again just before that even happens, because them together, like Ego's getting some punches against gas, awakened gas, by the way. Goku as well is getting some hits. Then he gets the zombie form, and it's like no chance, like no chance. Like they stood no chance against zombie gas at all. Like it was like, don't get me wrong, were they trying to box him? Were they boxing? Yeah, they were boxing, but we knew damn well when we were reading this, they stood no chance against that gas. If he was able to just stay there, no chance. Like, what'd you think about Zombie Gas's design and how menacing he
So,
looked?
I thought Gas in general had a cool look, but yeah, Zombie Gas was really interesting. And the vibe that I got was that like, again, you shake that bottle of soda with the mint in it, right?
Yeah.
And the pressure is building up. It's getting there's more force, more force, more force as it's being ready to blow up. Right? This thing, it's almost like as he was as he was going on, he was outputting more and more of his power, but that was also equating to less and less of his, like you were putting it, soul or soul force being erased. It was fast forwarding the timeline of his life. And so definitely that comes across from a visual perspective. But to me, I think subconsciously, my mind was kind of processing it like that when it was happening. So it didn't seem strange to me that like he was seemingly stronger in that moment. Almost like how when Broly pops a cap, he's just unbelievably strong.
Yeah.
So yeah, that I thought the design was really cool, but that's kind of my thought as well, a little bit on kind of how they treated zombie gas, but it wasn't even very long lived, Mr. Zombie Gas,
Yeah.
was
No,
it?
it wasn't long at all.
No.
I think it was just that like chapter ish. It was like a chapter and a half, technically, I think, right? Because we get in 86, end of
Yeah.
86, and then we get in 87, and then what we're gonna get into now, because we've been streaming now for how actually not that long, to be honest.
How
We
long
haven't
has it been?
It's been about an hour. Not long at
Oh,
all. Yeah.
well,
The Walking Dead gas, Gerald says. Yeah, for sure.
yeah. Yo,
Um,
facts.
okay. They're fighting gas. And then the guy, the best villain in Dragon Ball history, pops out of the just and the way. Okay, hold on. We gotta talk
Oh,
about
hold
his
on.
entrance.
Yeah.
Like that needs a talk in itself. Okay,
Yeah.
you can talk about whatever. Like people can say whatever about Dragon Ball Super's writing and how sometimes it's just bullshit stuff. Sure, I don't like Frieza always coming back. I will say one thing though. I am not mad at Black Frieza. I am not mad at this. Once Black Frieza is eventually gone, I'm done with Frieza. But right now, is by the way, I don't know if you noticed from his design, he does look a little different, like his head shape and everything. It like the way he is, like the way he looks a little bit, he does actually look a little different. There's some little changes I noticed
Okay.
as well.
I gotta look back at that.
Yeah, he does look a little different, and I like it. What did you think? Okay, hold on. You go to chapter 87. Did you read the title?
No, I didn't read any titles.
Okay, that's even better. So they're fighting gas. Okay, actually, let me try to get this page up because I'm trying to remember. I know he like slams down, right? He like
Yeah.
slams down. How does that sequence happen?
Okay, wait, but hold on. You're missing out the true intro for how we find out Frieza's there. Because doesn't he? Isn't it him who shoots Minato in the back?
Yeah.
I think that happens, and then he like lowers down. Isn't that what it was? Or maybe
Yeah.
I'm wrong. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that's how it was. But yeah, like So you're talking about
No. The person who shoots Minato with zombie gas.
was it zombie gas?
Yeah. I'm even getting it here too, but
Oh.
yeah, dude, he looks awesome. Zombie gas looks insanely sick.
Yo, I know. I gotta pull up some of the. I have so many screenshots from reading. It's nuts. I like almost was screenshotting every single page. Hold on here. Okay, actually, yeah, I'm around that area. So you're talking about when he just gets decked by Black Frieza?
Well, I'm talking about his entrance alone. Like how does everything happen? Because you gotta understand, so there's a point where Goku and Vegeta are fighting gas, and again, no chance, right? But they're pissed off, blah blah blah. But they're still in their forms. They're still in Ego. They're still in TUI, and they're doing damage. Like there's one point where Goku kicks Granolah. His arm is like basically like off. It's like broken off. Like they're doing shit to him. And then I'm trying to find that chapter or that panel because yeah, there it is. It's literally just so sudden. Like you just see Vegeta. You just see Frieza just go down. Like you literally just see him just go down. Next panel. So you're reading and you're just like, poof, he's just there. Slam down on the ground.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that? What's your thoughts on, okay, Frieza's here. Okay, so what? Like, you know what I mean?
I knew immediately. I didn't think we were gonna get Black Frieza, and then but the moment he landed, I was like, oh, we're gonna get Black Frieza right now. That's
Yeah.
how this works out because I know after this it's like superhero, and so like when do they squeeze this shit in? I don't. Oh, it's now. It's gonna be now.
Yeah.
Okay, and then all of those headcanon thoughts I've been having around like how do they present like how like someone gonna die? Is Goku gonna die? Is Vegeta? Is there gonna be something crazy? And but yeah, I was excited to see his new form because I was like straight confident that I was about to see it, and I did. I gotta
Yeah.
say, I saw in the bonus chapter like colors and stuff. I think they could have made Black Frieza look way cooler. I don't know why we needed any white on him at all. Even if they were to like leave him white but turn the purple black, that would have been cool too. Like, but why did they leave part of his chest white? Like, in his like that was just weird. Anyways,
Yeah. Um, I like it. I actually like the form for Frieza, and okay. You know how I am with Namek Saga. I think it's the best Z arc. It's not my favorite. I think it's the best
yeah,
written though. I
yeah.
Cell arc is always my favorite. Um, but I can go back and rewatch Namek Saga all day. But
Mhm.
Frieza, I didn't like Golden Frieza, and you know this. But getting Black Frieza and being blue balled now for over a year because we haven't gotten anything basically because of superhero and now that we're finally getting it back and we've been doing this project together, this podcast, this
Mhm.
content that we're doing, it's really gotten me excited for Black Frieza to come back into the story because we only get one chapter of it, right? Not even a chapter, it's like a quarter of the chapter. And there's a lot of Vegeta. No, sorry, Frieza has always been menacing, but they're the confidence now. Like he's always been confident, arrogant, sure, but he knows. Like the thing is like in the tournament of power, he knows Vegeta, he knows Goku is stronger than him, but he's just kind of like fire ki blast here, Kaba, you're dead, this and that. Like I don't care, sure. But now he's in an even more dangerous state because he could do whatever the fuck he wants. He could toy around, and that's what he did. And I'll tell you my favorite part about the last chapter of this arc is to put it in a crazy way. Frieza ended the whole arc in like 3 moves. He ended the arc in 3 moves. He literally kills Granolah, or sorry, Granolah. He kills Gas in one shot. He puts his fucking palm through him. He's gone, and then he one shots Vegeta and Goku. And he doesn't hit Granolah because Granolah is occupied.
Yeah, and he kills elect, and then he hires the other two
I believe so.
to
Yeah.
work for him.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
that's interesting. And that's also something that, like, maybe this is a headcanon, I don't know. Like, obviously those two have the ability to transform into that form as well. It's something that they refer to as like, oh, you can't take off that, like, that for gas it was like the head piece. I think they might have different accessories, but whatever. It's like it stops them from going. It's like not having the moon there when you have a tail. And so we know that they can maybe get stronger. I don't know if Frieza's going to exploit that or use it, but I was a little disappointed that I was like, why did they, like, when the gas was about to die, like rip off their thing and transform and give one, like, I kind of thought that was coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, I'm rambling.
Um. How about the hyperbolic time chamber for Frieza?
Oh, wow. Well, I think that was such a great emphasis to the moment of like, okay, well, how much stronger is he? Oh, wow. Well, we don't know what his limit is, but we know that he's probably greatly stronger, especially when we talk about what you had alluded to earlier on in the podcast. Like,
Yeah.
Frieza doesn't need to train for very long. He trained for like 3 months and just immediately went with Golden Frieza, and it was almost at blue form, like
Yeah.
strength. Like, it was nuts.
And it
But
wasn't because it wasn't complete. He just went straight there with the form. If it was,
exactly.
then it gets a bit scarier.
And I think that's the other thing as well. Like, you were saying, he knew he has the upper hand, and he was confident enough in himself
Mm-hmm.
to not, like, his life since being beaten by Goku has been to kill the Saiyans.
Yeah.
And for him to be like, I came here because I got a phone call. Turns out it wasn't a big deal. I'm gonna go now. The fact that he doesn't end the Saiyans there is like, I don't really care if you train.
Yeah.
I am that much stronger than you.
Yeah.
I don't need to worry about
He's
you.
saving the monkeys for later. That's what
Yeah.
he's doing. And
Yeah.
okay, so I actually have a thing that's kind of gets into chapter 101. It's not too much. It's not really like a spoiler, but it's
Fine.
more of what I think. Because okay, so it's not a spoiler because you saw Black Frieza, and it's not
Yeah.
a spoiler because we're assuming that we're getting Black Frieza arc now, right? I mean, I would assume
Right.
so.
Right.
Or maybe like like those arcs where it's like a little filler arc. It's not really a filler arc, but it's like an arc that leads to the biggest arc. So like a saga almost, right? So you have the Saiyan saga, but Raditz is like the beginning part of that, and then you kind of get the big guys like Nappa. Nappa's kind of whatever, but then you get Vegeta, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Nappa does his thing too. Let's be real. I mean, he kills like
Yeah.
3 Z fighters.
Yeah.
So what I said actually in my discussion stream that you weren't able to make because you weren't caught up yet is that how cool would it be? Okay, so I was saying how I want it to be. So now we have Broly, we have this beast Gohan, we have Piccolo, we have Vegeta, we have Goku, right? We have 5
Yeah.
really, like, the weakest link there is probably Broly currently just because he's trying to control himself. But overall for talking potential and everything, the weakest is Piccolo, and he ain't weak. He's not weak at all.
No. Yeah.
So
I mean, he's still figuring out what he can do here.
yeah,
Like, this is a big
exactly.
form.
So
Yeah.
what I was talking about in my discussion stream is that I don't want the Black Frieza arc to be 5v1. Like, I want Frieza to make an army that's competent. Like, I want him to get people who are like, yo, like, Vegeta might have a struggle with him because Goku might be against Frieza, which I don't want. I'd rather Vegeta be against Frieza. But what I'm saying is the Frieza force needs to be improved. Like, I hope that Frieza is like bringing like strong people and putting them in this hyperbolic time chamber or whatever, and getting them strong. And here's what I think should happen. This is my theory. There are 4 universes that didn't go to the Tournament of Power that are now restored. How about if Frieza found the best warrior from each of those universes? That would make it 5 fighters. It would be Frieza, those 4 strongest warriors. That's 5. And now you have Piccolo, Gohan, Goku, Vegeta, and you have Broly. So now you have a 5v5 type of scenario where
Yeah.
Frieza actually has a very strong force now. So the only thing I don't like about this theory thing that I came up with is that I want Cooler to come back. How do you implement Cooler like at all now, right? And I think they could do the same thing what they did with Broly, whereas Broly was still alive. It's still alive right now. Cooler, Goku and Vegeta never fought Cooler. It's not canon. So maybe Cooler is still alive of some sort. And I don't know, maybe he's been somewhere else, maybe like a Tarble factor where it's like, he's a bit weaker now, but he's Frieza race, right? So
Yeah.
he just Frieza will be like, yo, you're my brother. I'm gonna put you in the time chamber for like 10 years or 15 years and see what happens. And maybe he's like gold. Like he's like golden cooler. But like his golden cooler is stronger than Frieza's. Because the reason why I say that is Cooler had to train to get stronger. When the uncanon Cooler, the non-canon, right? Frieza at base was always strong. That's why Frieza is broken, because Frieza was always strong without training. Cooler wasn't. Cooler had to work towards getting stronger, and the Cooler that we got in the movies was stronger than Namek Saga Frieza. So imagine we get a golden Cooler that's way stronger than the golden Cooler we see in Tournament of Power. So it's something like Kaioken times 20 or Evo, or even just a bit above that in strength, but maybe not like maybe like Orange Piccolo level, or like something like that. Now Frieza actually has a force, because we've always known Frieza past Namek Saga as just being like it's only him. It's just Frieza. Like, are we really just getting a Black Frieza versus Vegeta, Goku, Gohan? Like, I don't want that.
So can I help out?
Yeah, what's up?
So I love your idea. I think Cooler would be another fun one to bring into Canon Land. I really love all of the designs they've had for him. If they want to lean on that, that's cool with me. But yeah, I think that makes sense. I don't think Frieza gives him enough time in the hyperbolic time chamber to get stronger than him. So I like your point of him, achieving gold, but maybe just that's that. Maybe Gold ends up fighting Piccolo. Now, here are the other three characters that could come in here. Okay, so Frieza is a salesman. He is a sly fox. Okay, there's one person or one being that we completely forgot about. That is the beginning of the Granolah 73. 73's around.
Yeah.
Let's not forget this. Do you think that was just nothing? No. How were the Heaters like getting their money and all that? Like, they were working for Frieza, right? They worked for Frieza, did they not?
Yeah.
And they were still actively working for Frieza. Like all I'm saying is, I could see 73 being there. I could see Cooler being there. I could see him contracting Hit, and I can see him talking to Jiren and being like, "Do you want revenge against that fucker who made you feel weak and small? Let's go." And now you have, like, kind of like what you're saying, like 5 fighters on both sides that should all be able to hold their ground.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. I like that too. I like that because that brings 73 back, but I think it brings him back, and maybe he's like somewhat stronger. The thing with 73, he has like a gimmick.
Powers.
Yeah, or he's a gimmicky guy, but not in a bad way. It's actually pretty cool. And I think that would be like the end of 73. You're kind of gone, kind of thing. He finally like completely is gone. He dies. And I hope that's what happens with Frieza. And I hope Frieza's death is very satisfying, in the sense where it's like I'm almost like hurt that he's gone, just because it's like, you gotta understand, if Frieza eventually goes and he never comes back, it's really gonna hit this time, because it's like they won't bring him back again, surely, right? Like, obviously end of Z, whatever, he comes back at the end, right? They bring him back in GT and stuff, but that's not canon. If Black Frieza is dead this time, and they will not bring him back, I'm pretty positive they will not bring him back after this. I feel like I'm gonna be like, not in the feels, it's Frieza, but it's gonna be more like, yo, like this is the end of this is the end. Like, it's over. There's no more Frieza. What's next? Kind of thing. It's almost like, what's next? And I think and the reason why I'm tying this with 73 is because we start getting 73 in Moro, which is the post Tournament of Power, post anime. It almost feels like we're in a saga right now, where it's like Vegeta and Goku's growth and how far they can get to currently, because they're still in their prime ages. They're in their late 40s, early 50s, and they're Saiyans, so they'll still look like that for another like 15-20 years. So I feel like getting 73 gone and Frieza gone, like it really is an end of an era, like or a saga of some sort. And I think that's cool because we could finally start getting to the end of Z. That's what we want. We
which
we
we're
want to
definitely very close to
yeah,
right
and
now.
and they got to change a lot of things, so or else it doesn't make sense. So we got to have a new end of Z um ending. But yeah, I do like the 73. I do like the cooler thing. I do like my whole theory on like the four universes, and and Frieza knows this because he was at the Tournament of Power. So he knows that there are four universes that did not show up. And
That'd
maybe
be cool
and maybe
because
if
it'd be
anything,
also
yeah,
characters that we don't know about.
exactly. And the only issue again that I also have with that is one, I want Cooler back, so it would be 6 against 5. But I mean, who's the sixth strongest fighter? Do we bring 17 back? I feel like that I feel like it doesn't really add up to bring 17 in from like the 5 that I've already said. Not
Yeah.
because 17 is weak, but it doesn't make sense thematically. Personally, um
Yo, it's gonna be Tillin.
amen. If it's Tillin, bro, that'd be crazy. That'd be kind of
Ultra
crazy, dude.
Ball.
Fusion dance. That'd be insane.
Yeah.
The only problem I have with that is if we get the 4 other universes, we probably don't get a Tournament of Power version 2. And I know there are a lot of people out there in the community that want a second Tournament of Power eventually, but with all 12 universes. Because we didn't get that. And we want to see the growth of Jiren and Hit and, a bunch of the other people, except not Ribrianne. But, maybe some other ones. And I don't want a Tournament of Power 2 personally, just because there were some universes that they sucked. Like I didn't care for them.
Yeah.
So I don't really care for that. That's why I don't mind me saying this. Because I feel like, how about if Frieza does get so how about this? Let's make this more exciting.
Okay.
Let's say Frieza gets 2 or 3 people from those 4 universes, and he gets cooler. But they start realizing this, and they find this information by guess who? Jocko, because he's from the Galactic Patrol.
Our sixth fighter. No, I'm
Our
joking.
sixth fighter, exactly. Jocko lets them know, and Goku looks at Whis and he's like, let's go to our universes. So he goes to Universe 6 and he recruits Hit, Khalifa, Kaba, and Kale. Then he goes to Universe 11, Jiren and Toppo. Right?
No, leave Topo, man.
You don't like Toppo.
No,
but
don't wake him up. Just leave him sleeping.
no, but he is just listen in here. All right, guys, there's supposed to be ads. I'm gonna skip that shit though. And we get like Jiren and Toppo, Dispo, or whatever, right? Let's just say Jiren and Toppo, not really Dispo. Now we have like a full-on crew. Like I'm talking, like we got Kefla, because they would probably fuse. We have Kaba, we have Jiren, we have Hit, we have Toppo, we have Vegeta, Goku, Gohan. It's a full-on war at that point, and it's Frieza Force versus or it's like the Frieza's universes versus Goku's universes or whatever that he recruits. That would be insane, dude. That would be crazy. Holy shit, that'd be like an insane arc. Insane arc. Bro, let me write this shit. Toyotaro, bro. What are you doing?
Yeah, I know. Dragon Ball Josh. Dragon Ball Sky. Oh, Dragon Ball Sky.
Dragon Ball Sky.
Yeah, let's also not forget that with us getting Trunks and Goten as teens, we're opening up the floor for some serious development from them. And we don't know, like, even just the two of them fused at teen, like, we don't really know how strong they are. But
Yeah.
if you're talking about bringing in a sixth guy, it could end up being them fused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want them solely
I
relying
really
on
like your
Goten
concept,
still.
though. I also like the idea of, I think we're done, like, Goku versus Jiren, but it would be cool to see them fighting alongside each other for sure.
Yeah, because they have respect
especially
for each
in an
other.
effort to take down the guy that Goku teamed up with to beat Jiren in the Tournament of Power.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird.
It would be so weird to see like Jiren. Imagine Jiren just getting like boxed by mostly everyone now. Like he just looks like he's just so much weaker because of how everything scales.
You know, one thing I did want to say, you mentioned that you're not sure if you want a Tournament of Power 2. I agree with you to a degree because I would love for the next Tournament of Power to come after Oob and for it to be like Goku for Goku, maybe even Vegeta, but to be like, this isn't my fight. It's time for you guys to go. And now we have guess what? Gohan's where he's at. We know he's where he's at. Go Piccolo's where he's at. Some of these characters that have been in the shadow for so long now get
Yeah,
a chance to be
Pan,
like, fuck,
Pan.
Pan, like Teen Pan. Now
Oh
you
my,
have
bro,
like,
give me Teen
bro,
Pan, bro.
Teen Pan, and like oh my, Teen Pan's going Super Saiyan 4. I already know. I'm joking, but that would be so much fun. And then you have Jiren still there. You have Hit still there. You have these obstacles in the way that have been established as like crazy strong, crazy difficult characters with
Yeah.
unreal abilities. And we already have that foundation.
Mhm.
All now you're doing is like building towards these fights and these moments in a way that makes it feel believable when, of course,
Mhm.
they beat Jiren, when they beat him, but it'd be cool for it to be at the hand of Piccolo, to be at the hand of Gohan, but of course, yeah, even like some of the youngsters coming in because they're the next generation as well.
Yeah. Gerald says in chat, problem, how will Frieza get to the Under Universe? Well,
Uh,
he was universe jumping.
he was,
He
yeah,
they we get shown that in the end of the arc. I don't know if you remember, Gerald, but yeah, like Frieza was universe hopping, and we still don't know how. But this is good. This is what I okay. One problem I have with Dragon Ball is not the fights, I'll tell you that much. Um, but when the story can get very intriguing, they kind of just give us all of it in like one fell swoop. I like that they're not giving. I like that they're leaving it open right now, and we kind of get that
yeah,
as well. And I'm sure you'll probably read it tonight or maybe tomorrow, chapter 101.
yeah,
But
for sure.
even in chapter 101, there's something like left open, and the whole community is like, "Oh, this might happen or this might happen." That is good for a series. You don't want it to be like, "Oh yeah, this is just gonna happen." Yeah, everyone knows already. It's gonna happen. No, this is cool. The problem with your thing with Frieza skipping. Thanks for reminding us. Is that we don't know how we did it, and I hope that
Yeah,
that's answered eventually. But right now we can like maybe not now, but maybe in future episodes or whatever. And while we're reading the chapters, the new ones, we can really be like, how is he doing? Like, how is he skipping through these universes? Because he doesn't have an angel with him, or does he? And how does he? Because remember, there's one angel that is still suspect till this day. One. And I forgot his name, but he's the one in the Tournament of Power where his universe gets erased and he smiles. He grins. And everyone's like,
I
what the
remember
fuck
that.
is that? That's weird. That is
Yeah,
super, super weird. So I'm wondering if Frieza somehow, if we're gonna get something where like we somehow get like a flashback to the Tournament of Power where he kind of sees that angel, because I believe Frieza even looks up at when that happens too. It would be cool and weird to be like, maybe Frieza got to that universe somehow. I don't know how. We'd have it some sort of way, and they somehow teamed up in some sort of way. That'd be crazy because we're still trying to understand these angels are broken. We get it. These angels are completely broken. They cannot be part of the story yet. How do you make it so these angels are crazy? Like evil. Like these are evil. Like these some people are evil. So we know Whis we don't think Whis is evil. We just think he's neutral. We think he's very and for a good reason. Or like for like what Whis says is very valid on what he says, what he thinks, and stuff like that. He's just kind of doing his own thing.
yeah,
We know Vados, Shampa's angel, Universe 6, is stronger than Whis because Vados is older than Whis and trained Whis. And Whis is already way stronger than Beerus. And Beerus is probably one of the
yeah,
strongest God of Destructions. So imagine this one that's grinning. Even if he's weaker than Vados and Whis, they can't fight another angel. It's not part of their contract. They're just like, oh, we can't do anything. Sure, that's our brother or whatever. It's not on us. And maybe what happens eventually, they takes his power or whatever. But what I'm trying to get to is this is the point. Like I'm kind of going in a little rabbit hole here, but that's the beauty of it. How is Frieza hopping around universes? That's what
yeah.
That's what I'm going back to.
Does your mind also go to characters like Jiren and Hit in how they manipulate dimensions in order to time skip? Like, is there something where in the Tournament of Power, Frieza's very observant of some of the techniques that are going on, and maybe learns in that 10-year period how to explore those moves differently, or like to explore parts of that, like, because
Hmm.
isn't that kind of how it's vocalized that like Hit and or Jiren, like, because Jiren also does something sort of like time skipping too, right?
Not
I
necessarily.
thought,
He's just
I
quicker
thought
than
that
his
was
time
kind of
skip.
implied by the Angels. Okay,
Yeah, he's just kind of quick. He adapted to it
it's
quicker
adapted.
than
Okay,
what Goku did. Which kind of implies to that Jiren at base value is more observant of a fighter than Goku is.
so
Because
I
of
guess
that.
like so I guess getting off of that, like, what do you think the odds are that it's just a technique versus someone's in the background helping out Frieza?
I think it might be a technique, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. It could be a technique. And the thing is too, like it's cool to think, an angel, like an evil angel is helping him. Don't get me wrong. Maybe we get something like that in
That would be
later on.
so cool. Yeah,
Maybe not with Frieza, obviously, but someone else. Maybe like, the God of Destruction and Angel team up, like of that universe or something. I don't know.
yeah,
But at the same time, he grinned when his own God of Destruction disappears. So maybe he doesn't even give a shit. It could be
yeah.
like he teams up with the God of Destruction that wanted to Hakai. Remember the one that had the God of Destruction orb that Frieza took in and he took it out? He was able to take it out and he gave it to Goku before the Tournament of Power. Do you remember that? Where like the God of Destruction is like, yo, target Universe 7, and they gave him like a ball of destruction, and then they threw it at Frieza after he got out of hell. That Goku took him out, and he took it out. Like he actually took out the Hakai out of him.
Whoa, I do not remember this.
Yeah, that's
Jeez.
before the Tournament
Okay.
of Power. Um, it'd be cool to like see like maybe some God of Destructions teaming up or whatever against Tournament Universe 7, because again, we know they don't like Beerus. Like there could be so many things. Maybe Frieza wants to become the new destroyer, the new God of Destruction. Okay, how about this? How hype would it be if we're confirmed that Black Frieza and Beerus are gonna fight?
I have a feeling that's coming.
If you have a feeling that's coming, I wouldn't be able to sleep, bro. That's hype as fuck.
Yeah,
That's like if that's ever animated, like knock on wood, because I hope this shit gets animated at some point. That's breaking the internet. Like it to me, that's crazier than Beerus versus Goku Part 2. Just in the sense of you don't know who's winning, Beerus or Black Frieza, because well, I think Beerus is winning, but what I'm saying is we don't know. Like we could say Beerus is gonna win, but we don't actually know. Whereas Part 2 of Goku versus Beerus, we're probably gonna speculate Goku's winning this time, right? Unless it happens like a third time. But that's why I think it could be really, really interesting if we get that kind of dynamic. But yeah, it is interesting. Like to end it off here soon. But like that he's skipping these universes. He found a time chamber. It's not universe 6, right? I don't believe it's universe 6 that he got this time chamber. And the only reason why I'm saying universe 6 is because it's our mirrored universe, 6 and 7. So maybe if we have one, they might have one. They might have like a Mr. Popo equivalent as well. And you're right, you never know. So this is the discussions we kind of this is good to have. Is what I'm trying to say. Heading into this new
yeah.
arc.
What about Frost
Weak, bro.
now? But so is Cooler. If he's anything like
I mean, he's just
if
like,
Cooler's getting the hyperbolic time chamber treatment, then why doesn't
no, I
Cooler
get what
get
you're
that
saying,
treatment?
and you're right, but I mean, like, I don't think Frost as a person, like as a person, he will always go back to like, oh, poison them and kick them off kind of thing. He could be, but if he's really, really strong, like you said, after like maybe he's like, nah, fuck that, I'm too strong at this point, and maybe he actually becomes kind of cool because I never thought Frost was kind of actually no, that's a lie. When I first saw Frost, I was like, oh shit, like when we first see him ever, I'm like, yo, what the fuck? This is like a new Frieza thing. It's pretty
I
cool. And then you're just like, okay, he's kind of whatever. He's kind of mid.
Yeah, Tournament of Power Frost was just boring
Yeah.
and lame.
Even Universe 6, he's kind of like whatever. He's like,
It was okay. Yeah, it was, yeah. What's the chat saying? True, I forgot Frieza has some serious contacts. He
Yeah.
definitely does.
He
He's
does.
been in the game for a while. He literally was running the universe.
Yeah,
So
he was.
it's nuts. I forget about that sometimes. Oh man.
What an
Granola,
arc.
what an arc. And we have a lot of fun shit to come, clearly.
Yeah.
Obviously them hinting at the end towards the
Mhm.
fact that maybe Black Frieza isn't this great warrior that everyone is talking about. It's probably Gohan. Maybe it's not though. Maybe it's Black Cooler. We don't know.
Before
Maybe
we
it's
end it
Pan.
here, let's get our actual ratings.
Okay.
So I said for you 8.5. What is your actual rating of the Granolah arc?
8.5.
Let's go. I knew it. I fucking knew it. Okay, let's go. What was yours? 7.5 for me, right?
Yeah.
My Granolah arc rating is a 7.
Okay.
You're
That's
pretty
fair.
close.
That's
You're
fair.
pretty
That's
close.
close.
Yeah, because Moral for me is an 8.5. Yeah, so
Is it
it's an
8.5?
8.5 Moral.
Wow, so it's that significant
Yeah.
for you. Is it so if they either do Bardock flawlessly or just like don't waste quote unquote waste time on Bardock, does that bring up the rating?
No.
Or
Well, it
it's
brings
just
it up to
not
like 7.5. But then it's also like I don't as much as I love Ego and TUI, I think they got it too fast. I don't think we got I'm fine getting a chapter and a half, 2 chapters and a half of them like completely training. And like it could be off them and like get some other stuff too, like what the heaters are doing a bit like here and there. But it was like basically one chapter. Beerus gives thing his ring. And don't get me wrong, it could have been a time lapse, but they never told us that. It was kind of just happening, right? And it didn't even look like they were implying that. It was just like, yo, Vegeta's going here, Goku's going here, blah, blah, blah. So, like,
Mhm.
whatever. It felt too quick for me. But at the same time, I can, argue my own point and be like, well, Ego isn't even mastered. It was kind of just, it was kind of like the lowest of the barrel Ego.
Yeah.
Goku definitely has the more defined form currently. But, yeah, I guess we could talk about this later on because, I mean, on Thursday, we can talk briefly on 101 before we head into. I'm about to wake up my dog if I do that, to be honest. Thursday. That must have scared someone, whoever's listening. Thursday. Okay, Mike, I'll be honest with you. I'm not joking when I say this. I'm ecstatic. No. Listen. Do you understand how much like I've never gotten to fan made manga just because I'm like, it's probably just like some like whatever shit, right? Dude,
Mhm,
I've
mhm.
only heard I've literally only heard good things from Kakame. Only heard good things. There are people on Reddit, literally on Reddit, who literally say, please fund this shit. Like, fund it. Some people, not some, a lot of people think it's better than Super. Um, that's always gonna happen, to be fair.
Why are we comparing? It could just be a
Thank you.
cool other
Why
project.
not just
Yeah.
be its own thing? They're
Yeah.
respecting the original anyway. I don't like that whole thing anyway. I'm just saying, like, if people think that way, maybe there are some cool like dynamics they're added. Because again, us as fans, sometimes we think about things at corporate, like they're just kind of like our studios, they're kind of just like, oh, whatever. When they're or Toyotaro when he's like writing something, right? And
Yeah.
we're like, yo, this would be cool, this would be cool. That's what you call fan service. And we might get a lot of that with
Yeah.
Kakame. And I just want to read you quickly. I've already told you this before, but Dragon Ball Kakume synopsis. Before we go, that's really
It's
interesting.
funny because it almost sounded like you said Dragon Ball Kaka synopsis.
um,
Oh.
so Dragon Ball Kakume is a fan-made depiction of the story that takes place after the Tournament of Power. The doujinshi kicks off with the doujinshi means fan-made. So this manga kicks off with the end of the tournament as Goku and Frieza manage to defeat Jiren and win the competition, Following that, Android 17 gets to make a wish using the Dragon Balls. And you kind of go from there. So, like, similar to the ending of Dragon Ball Super Anime, the android's wish is the erase of the universe. However, besides the erased universe that determined power, other universes that were formerly erased also get restored. Immediately after, an unknown individual attacked the Zeno Palace and forced the Grand Master to fight him. This led to a situation where Goku and the others prepared to face impending universe-wide battle. As the anime will only be animated for Shout for now, fans can majorly expect the episode to feature an exhilarating fight between Goku and Beerus. And that's the end. I haven't read the rest. I don't want to read the rest. Actually, there's not much left. Yeah, that's it. This will be followed by the infiltration of Zeno's palace. That's all we know. Which is pretty cool. And yeah, Kakame is actually trying to get an anime adaptation somehow, which is crazy. I don't know how they're gonna get that, but apparently their art is all original. It's 4 guys, and they're all the ages of 18 to 23, I believe. So good for them. I still need to get more info on how copyright works with this. I'll try to message maybe 2 or 3 of their accounts on Twitter today and just see if it's possible, because they have no issues from what I'm understanding from promoting it. It's fan made. I'm sure they would appreciate that. It's just a matter of, is Toei Animation or Shueisha being a little dick about it? That's the only thing. Which, you know, to their fairness, fine. Obviously, I just mean, like, you know, are they being very strict on it? Basically, we'll figure that out. If we do, we can kind of like blur it out a little bit. But if you want, we could talk a little bit about 101 first, because we're not going to do one whole chapter of Kakame on Thursday.
Right.
We'll probably
you're
do
saying
like,
it's longer.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see how it goes, right? Maybe we can go on for like an hour and 15. If, you know, we're kind of good, we're good. We can leave it for the next week, because again, we're monthly, right? Dragon Ball Super is monthly. We have time to fill in. And if we really like Kakame, which a lot of people are saying, like, I've heard multiple people say, yo, you're probably gonna like it. I think we will. It's also why I'm, like I told you earlier, I want to get a notebook, because there's gonna be new characters, gonna be new concepts, and I want to be able to remember that. It'd be cool, like, having some new story, but still Dragon Ball, and, like, you know, be able to theory craft and stuff too, because the Dragon Ball Kakame community is apparently huge. Like, it's gigantic. There are people who only like do Dragon Ball Kakame content on YouTube too, which I find super, super interesting. And it's almost like, if you're doing content just off this, like, it has to be good. Like, it has to be. There's no way I see hundreds of thousands of views on one video on a chapter discussion that's like, yo, this crazy thing happened. Like, it has to be good. There's no way it's not good. It has to be.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'm
that's
excited for that.
Crazy.
Yeah. Over.
Wow. Yeah, I am excited about that too. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, the first chapter of it, has like, if I remember correctly, let me see if I can get this quick. If I can't, it's fine. Oh, I got it. There, if I could see it on mobile, that would be cool. Or mobile on PC. I don't think I can I? No, but on mobile, I was able to check, and like chapter 1 has like over 200,000 views, like people who read it, like over 200,000. I was like, what? This is fan made, bro. Like, this isn't just some, like, this is a fan made that's like not even a joke. Like, they're clearly doing well, and I'm sure they have like patrons and stuff that are really funding this, and that's why I think it's gonna be really, really enjoyable, because it's like, yeah, look at this. Like, they have 88 million views in total.
Wow.
Yeah. So, like,
Yeah,
it's just,
we're gonna have a good time.
Yeah,
For
it's
sure
gonna be
with that.
fun.
I'm really excited about it. I think, like, there's something about the last actually a bit longer probably than that, but let's just say the last few years in general, this running theme within TV and film of multi-dimensional, multi-universe kind of thing, multiverse kind of thing. It's opened up my mind a little bit to stuff like this as well. Of
Yeah.
like, I like the idea of like this. Hey, why not treat this in my mind as like this is canon in another timeline, in another you know universe where it worked out this way. This is
Exactly.
just the way it panned out, and I think that makes it really exciting, especially if they're telling a good story. And it sounds like they are, so it's really cool. I came across a
Oh,
few
cool. Never mind.
fan-made
It's not
projects
200.
for sure.
It's not
How long is
200
it?
page. So they actually go by volumes, which is cool. So because that's what I was showing you earlier. They actually have volume covers. So it goes by volume.
Mm.
So it's like yeah, volume 1, volume 2. Sorry, no, it goes by chapters. So chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of volume 1. They have 5 volumes right now. So they're at 5, 10, 15, 21, 22, 23, 24. And the 24th one was released 24 days ago. So they're active. I mean, this one just came out, and like the comments right now is crazy. Like you have like thousands of people in the last week who are like, "Yo, we can't wait for the next chapter." Like I'm not even joking. It's
Yeah.
like it's crazy to me. Like it is has to be like this is why I'm so excited for it. And I've been dodging like anything because I searched up Kakume just to get like the synopsis. Actually, I even sent you a short, and I'm like, okay, after this, I'm not watching anything. I don't want to get spoiled. I'm really excited about this. I want to take it like very seriously, because I know a lot of other people take it seriously. They scale it, they have theories for it, and I think that'd just be a cool like side thing that we do when we're not reading, the main product right now, right? Because I mean, this is getting fucking incredible. But having some other thing too is gonna be really really fun. So
Yeah. Yeah, we're definitely excited to like play around with that time slot for sure. And I
mhm.
think this is going to be one that obviously you brought this in and I wasn't too aware of it. It's really cool and I love the idea of it taking place directly after Tournament of Power.
Mhm.
Like again, the whole split timeline of like approach in my mind of like what if things happen this way. It really does
Yeah.
excite me and to know that like you're saying, there's such an incredible there's been such an incredible reaction from Dragon Ball fans. Also, like uh, just hearing this, imagine how crazy humbling something like this must be to Toriyama. Like you
Yeah.
created this project and how it has blossomed with your community, like to the point where people are creating very impressive versions of alternative mangas based on your project that are like I just think that's so cool, man. Like
Yeah.
I just in general, like
100%.
human being to human being, like that's
and
nuts.
and they've passed the threshold of like not copyright. So that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited for their original art because they have two writers, I believe. They have a full on specific artist, like a couple artists as well. So it's like they're drawing him. I mean, sure, it's Goku, right? But it's obviously drawn enough differently that it's like okay, it's not copyright. Like this is original art kind of thing, which is it's phenomenal. That's insane. It's so
Oh,
cool.
very cool.
Yeah. So, and the covers that I've seen, I've also, by the way, I've mentioned, especially for you, because I know you'll be the one usually handling the live streaming and stuff. I do know there are some bloody stuff. There's a lot more gory, but not like crazy shit. But in terms of it should be okay still. Maybe if we have like a bit of like a censorship on the
Cover.
chapter still. Yeah,
Okay.
but apparently it doesn't need to be as bad as what we've been doing because again, it's fan made, it's original. We can play around with it, but yeah, I'm gonna message on Twitter see if they answer. I'm sure if I message like a few of them, maybe one will get to me by the time it's Thursday. So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well,
yeah,
no
that's exciting.
pressure. Well, we're gonna be doing that. So if it's
Hmm.
something that you're excited for as well, then definitely make sure to join us on Thursday at 7:30. I'm excited. I'm gonna be there, and
Yeah.
I won't make mistakes this time that will lead us to push to 7:45. Again, that's my bad, folks. But we are going to start on time 7:30 this Thursday. We're going to react to what is it called again, Josh? Dragon
Dragon
Ball
Ball Kakume.
Kakume. Yeah, that's really, really cool. I love the cover art that I saw where it was like Gohan wearing a Universe 6 suit.
He was wearing
Or no,
Jiren's suit,
11. Yeah, yeah.
the Pride Troopers.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, all of Universe 11 wears that suit,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? Or like, I
Pride
don't know if all
Troopers.
of the universe does, but the at least the top 10 do. Oh, the Pride Troopers. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was cool. I was like, all right, we're giving Gohan something here. This is cool.
Yeah, and bro, he had like 15 abs. Like I'm like, oh, they're
I
doing the
know.
exaggerated shit. This is crazy.
Oh,
Um,
get me on his workout plan. Jason Cage, if you see this, my guy, get
oh
me on that
gosh.
routine.
All right, guys. We're gonna end it here. We want to thank everyone for stopping by. And just letting you all know that we know we have a Discord and join on in. Join on in. We're doing events. Right now we have an event going on And if you have enough XP for the whole week, you win volume 20 of Dragon Ball Super. We'll be doing this for every new volume that comes out, so that's once every 3.5, 4 months. And we'll do like other things like in the Discord itself, just cool events and like games and stuff. So hop on in because we have a lot of stuff we want to do for the Discord. But we just need you guys to come in and have some fun with us as well. And
Yes.
yeah.
Also, keep an eye out because I really want to get some gaming stuff up, but I would love to game with the community. So
Yeah.
if anyone's got Dragon Ball Xenoverse, we could have a lot of fun with that. Or any ideas around how we can do that. I might take this part of the podcast and just throw it into the Discord as a question to pose in there. So maybe join in there. We'd love to hear your voice there, or just leave a comment down there here below as well, and just let us
Yeah.
know what you think. But I would love to introduce more gaming stuff to the channel, especially Dragon Ball related content like Xenoverse. I am doing a playthrough right now, so who knows, that will most likely sooner rather than later end up being some sort of content, just streaming playing the game. But again, love to get folks in a game lobby and beating up some folks as well. Yeah.
Budokai Tenkaichi 4 though is going to be something very prominent in this channel when it comes out. Obviously we're gonna our podcasts and like our discussions, our manga daima and stuff, and is gonna be the main stuff. But in terms of you're gonna see a lot of Sparking Zero on the channel is what I'm trying to say here. That's gonna be pushed up
the card game.
as well as the card game. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
I see like definitely for like expect some sort of live streaming event or like for us to do some stuff specifically for when Dime is coming out, when Sparking Zero is coming out, when the card game is fully out and everything. And you're gonna be getting our thoughts on everything, and we're gonna want to play from you and hear from you. So
Exactly.
definitely, like Josh was saying, join us in the Discord. You will find those links anywhere you go, anywhere you find us. So
Yep.
yeah.
Anyways, guys, that is all for us. Thank you for coming to episode 8 of the Dragon Ball Fan Podcast.
All right, that's it.